games, whatever it is. But to not play to win, I can't stand that. And it cost us the second seed. And now you got to go on the road, possibly, if we beat San Francisco. If. I don't like not playing to win. But my daughter is on vacation in Curacao, and we're hoping that their flight flies out of there today. Curacao is right next to Venezuela, so extremely worried. A lot of anxiety. Did anybody trade or look at Rating Dog Kaishin Manufacturing last night? No. All right, let me start the room. We are streaming, so let's see. Is the stream working? The first stream of the new year. Let's see if it's working. Should be. Everything should be working. So far, so good. If everything goes according to plan, today's my last day with these crazy dogs. And wow, have they been crazy for 4 weeks almost. 4 weeks. Unbelievable. I mean, I love these dogs, but I don't want pets. 4 weeks is too long. It's just too much. Welcome everyone to the Pro Trader and Plus, the Oil Open, the US Open, and ISM Manufacturing. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss for
Russians strike
educational
its
purposes.
Bunge-owned assets in Dnipro, according to the city's mayor.
All right, so first things first, like I say in every room. Good morning there, Francis. Make sure, I know there's lots of new people, make sure you understand how to put your computer in sync, right? That's one of the first things that we do. I'll tell you a funny story. I always have some sort of story usually. So I had told the story about how I got an email from Verizon in November, very end of November, saying, "We want to thank you for being a loyal customer. We're going to reduce your price by $25 a month for a year. And all you have to do is call us. You don't have to buy anything, nothing at all." I thought it was a scam, so I ignored it. But then I looked at the email pretty carefully, and you can tell most of the time if an email is legitimate or if it's a scam. Now, you can't tell all the time, but this looked pretty good. And I did some research. I went on the internet, I used AI. I asked, is this a legitimate offer? There didn't seem to be any scam related to it. There are tools that you could get even deeper. It's tools that will let you put in a URL into the tool and it'll tell you if it's a legitimate URL. There are a lot of things you can do to keep yourself safe. Make a long story short, eventually I called them a couple of weeks ago, like right before Christmas. Turns out it was real. They gave me a discount. They gave me a new router, removed the rental price of my old router. and gave me the new router for free. And if they would have had 2 gig internet in my area, I would have ordered that, but they don't. So anyway, so yesterday I decided finally to set up the router because I have to return the other one, and I can't get it working. I can't get it working. I can't get it working. It's so frustrating. I just spent hours trying to get that router working. Calling tech support, it's a massive pain in the butt just because, especially with Verizon, they want to make sure that you have reset the router and reset the modem and try a test online with their robots. And you can't get a representative until you go through all this BS. Even if it's new, it just doesn't matter. It was such a pain in the butt. And of course, all I did was plug the wrong frickin' cable in into the WAN port. And I was sure I had the right cable in. Instead, I wasted like 2 hours because I was plugging the wrong cable. Unbelievable. Anyway, the router is pretty nice. It really feels zippier. I don't know if that's possible, but my computer feels a little bit zippier. And my internet speed is definitely at the high end of the 1 gig, where it had not been quite as high in previous tests. Anyway, the previous router I've had for many, many years, never had a problem with it. So I hope this router is as reliable. All right, so everyone, how do you sync your computer? How do you make sure that your computer is in sync? What you might want to do as the first day of the year, get our trusty pre-trade checklist. You can download it. You can download it from the file folder in the trade room. There is a file folder in the trade room with a whole bunch of programs in it. It's got our sync program in it. It's got the pre-trade checklist. All right. But on the pre-trade checklist is a link for Time Is. Just click that link, allow it, and it'll take you to a website that checks your computer sync. All right? If it's exact, you don't have to do anything. If you're not in sync, then you want to use one of the free programs we give you. Dimension 4, Karen's Time Sync. You install them on your computer, you press the Sync Now button, and they'll put your computer in sync. So that's the first thing you should do after you reboot everything. I mean, in the morning, I boot my cable modem, reboot my computer. I start the day off rebooting everything. That's just the way I do it. Then I make sure I'm in sync. Then you check the calendars, make sure we didn't miss any news, any changes to the schedule. Now, I always have a calendar up because I use Financial Juice Pro. I use their Squawk Box in my headset to listen to the news, as well as investing.com. When we get closer to ISM, you'll see how I use that website. But you want to make sure your computer is in sync. All right. All right. We're looking at oil. I did not look at the volume today on oil. Now, obviously, because of what's going on in the world, oil, interestingly, I thought oil would go up immediately at the 6 p.m. open, but it didn't. It actually went down quite a bit, and then it's been pushing up since. So oil is CL space 02-26, and we definitely are still on the February contract. It's got 10 days until rollover. And I do think that, there's certainly extra risk today on oil. In my gut, I'm feeling I'd rather get filled long. If you look at a 15-minute chart, you could see that from last night, it's been bullish. At 3 in the morning, it went down quite a bit. And it made a new low, and it's been pushing up ever since. It's quite bullish. Yet amazingly, we're still well under $60 on oil. Well under 60. It's hard to believe. Looking at a 5-minute chart, it's quite bullish. Now, normally I definitely don't like to try and think about changing the trade. Whenever we change the trade, we get in trouble. So either you trade it or you don't. As you could see, the open, it really had a big sell-off at the open, recovered half of it immediately, and then pushed up. Then it got bearish again for quite a few hours, made that new low, and it's been pretty darn bullish ever since. That's a 5-minute chart. And we watched the YM. I'm not watching gold at the moment. Gold, unbelievable, up $89 today. Just amazing what we see with gold. Now the gold open was at 820 this morning. And not so sure it would have been so easy with this wick. Might have gone up first. Did anyone trade the gold open this morning? Excuse me. As a break, I don't think I care for the gold open as a breakout. I don't think I would trade it as a breakout. I think there's just too many slips and starts in different directions. Now, Langford's trading it as a range, and range might make a lot more sense on the gold open if you're inclined to trade it. And remember, you can always trade micros. Always trade micros. There's no law that says you have to take big risk. You do what you're comfortable. So we're going to look at the YM. We always look at the YM in the morning along with oil. YM space 0326. I find it hard to believe these markets are bullish, but it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. The way that I'm going to do what I've been doing for a while on the YM, I'm going to set up our reverse continuation. Reverse continuation, right click, click on strategy, double click news trader, change the breakout to a reverse continuation. Throw a couple of contracts in one position. Going to do a 35 target and a 35 stop. And this is strictly a discretionary trade. I'm going to label it YM, reverse continue. And right now I'm looking at it on account number 32, a regular General purpose prop account, eval, not funded yet. So our reverse continuation is on. And then I'm also going to set up a magnet, high of day, low of day. I think it's a perfect setup this morning for high of day, low of day on the YM. Just doing a quick look at the accounts and where they're at. I did a lot of damage to my MNQ open account. Just futzing around on Friday, which I shouldn't have been doing. I don't know what got into me, but now I got to rebuild that again. Our oil market open account is up about
The LME
1,600
copper
bucks.
surges to
It's a funded account.
$13,000 for the first time.
That other account I was just talking about, MNQ open account, is funded, and I'm been on the verge of destroying that account. Brought it back, and now I've heard it again. And then I've got two small accounts that end of the day they only let me trade small until they build up, and I've barely been using those. Those are accounts that I'll have to trade micros. But this week I'm going to codify some of the accounts. So what do I mean? Well, I'm going to say account number 32. We're going to use that for breakouts. Account number 31, we're going to use that for all our micro trades. Going to try and keep each account for a certain type of event so we could see what's working best. All right. But right now, this morning, because I didn't do it yet, I'm just going to trade account 32, which is up about 450 bucks. It's a new of eval, and I'm setting up my second setup in that account, the YM magnet high of day, low of day. So choose magnet, and I have another new version I'm testing. Turn on high of day, low of day. Proximity, I'm going to leave it 3. And I'm going to do position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Position 1, target 1 offset. Default is -3. That means 3 ticks before it gets to the high or 3 ticks before it gets to the low. It takes you out with a profit on target 1. Target 2, I'm going to make 20 ticks. So if the market goes through the magnet 20 ticks, that's our target 2. So if it makes a new high or a new low plus 20, that's where we take our profit. And my stop will be 35. And you can use the target 1 stop move. Let's see. And you could move yourself to break even if it hits your first target, or break even -5, something like that. So I think I'll do that. And we turned off our trailing stop mode, thank goodness. Now, a lot of you don't have all the things that I have. Finally, okay. Finally, we can change the color of all the signals. And a lot of you do not have these extra features yet. Trust me, I promise the new version will eventually get released. We're so close. I'm labeling it YM Magnet. Label every single trade gets labeled. Don't forget. Every single trade gets labeled in the setup. If you don't label your trades, you will not know what events to remove, what strategies to remove when a trade is over and you want to put new strategies into the control center. So make sure you remove and first make sure you label all your strategies, and that's in the software down in the setup. And you also choose your account there. apply it, okay it, and then make sure that your chart trader is on that account. Then when you turn on the magnet, make sure that the tab at the bottom, you're using the strategy tab, or you will not see your trade setups. So when I turn on the magnet, it puts my orders on. Now, something I forgot to do, which you guys don't have yet, so don't sort it. I have to make sure that my signals are generating. All right, so when you turn on your magnet, your heavy line is the entry. So I want to enter somewhere around 13 ticks or so before I get to the high. There's no structure to use on the upside. On the downside, you've got some structure. It had made new lows pretty recently. So also, I usually like to make a minimum of 10 ticks of profit. I like to make 10 ticks of profit on target one. Minimum. If you don't have price structure that you're using to help you place entry orders, I like to make at least 10 ticks on one target. And then remember, if it goes 20 more, we're going to get that as our second target. So my magnet is set up. It's not on auto yet. It's not on auto yet. If I turn it purple and it says auto mode, then it's on auto. All right, that means when we get to those orders, the trade's going to trigger. It's a little early to be on auto. I'd probably let it trigger though. I probably would. So right now I'm going to leave it on auto for a moment, and we're going to go over to oil. Oil, the first thing I'm going to do is right click, strategy. I'm going to put a reverse continue on the chart, change the breakout to a reverse continuation. One position, position one is a 1, target 1 is 20, and my stop is 20. This is totally discretionary. We hardly ever use it. It's the whole concept. Good morning, Sean Paul. The whole concept of every chart that I have, almost every chart, I put a reverse continuation setup on, so you have an opportunity to get into the market if the opportunity arises above and beyond any normal setup that you might have. So I usually have 2 setups on every chart at a minimum. The main trade that we're taking and a reverse continuation. The reverse continuation, you could call it an intelligent scalp if you want, okay? Call it whatever you want. But if you don't have the opportunity to get in, then you're not going to have a trade, right? So I just like the opportunity, and that's why I do it. Then we have our regular trade, so let's finish setting that up. So we've got reverse continuation, position 1 is a 1, target 1 is 20 ticks, the stop is 20. It's just a discretionary. Reverse continuations are discretionary trades, and I am going to trade this in my funded account. I'm going to label it CL reverse continue. All right. Apply it, okay it, and turn it on. And then I'm going to add our main trade, which is our range trade. And I'm going to look for my template. Good morning there, Graybeard Scalper on YouTube. We are streaming on YouTube. I just saw your message. Nice to see you. All right. On the regular oil trade. Chantal, how you feeling this morning about the oil trade? Right click the chart. Click strategy. Double click news trader. Change the breakout to a range trade. Okay, I'm going to set the trade up, then I'm going to load my template. All right. Trade type is a range trade. The end of the range, because end is first on the software. Yeah, me too. But would you only allow it to go long? That's the question. I don't think I want to go short on oil this morning. I might intervene. Normally I wouldn't, but today I may only want to take a long. I kind of agree. Our range end is 9:0040 Eastern Time. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1, target 1 is 8 ticks, target 2 is 20 ticks, our stop is 15 ticks, right? The range start time is 8:59. Now, one thing you could do, if you could just choose long or short if you prefer. Normally what we do is one tick above the range, one tick below the range, and then don't forget, always show the range graphics on chart. That draws the range. One tick above, one tick below, what that means is after the range is finished calculating, that number of ticks above or below the range is where the long or the short order will appear. Okay? Now, the label, oil open, whatever you want to call it, just call it something. And then the account we're trading it in is our oil funded account. If you want to save that template, go to template, type save, and then give it a name. Type the name, oil open, and then type save. All right. Now I've already got a template, so I want to load my template and change the date and just get it updated for the new year. Oil new open range, something of that sort it's called. Oil new open range. It's last year's version. We're going to right click and rename it. Today's date is 1/5/26. When I load it, it saves it. All right, so let's just go back and double check it. Our end of the range is 9:0040. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Target's at 8 and 20. Target 1 is 8. Target 2 is 20. Target 1 stop move. If it hits my first target, I'll move my stop to break even -4. My stop is 15 ticks. The end of the beginning of the range is 8:59. One tick above the range, one tick below the range. Show the range graphics on chart. Those are all the things that I'm putting in. Now the YM looks like it's going to fill if I let it. It looks like it's going to fill my magnet. It's early, but I think I'm going to let it do it. Now, one thing you could do if you don't want a short to be close to filling, you could make the ticks below 10 ticks below the range or 20 ticks below the range so you have time to move it out of the way also. The YM's going to fill. The question is, should we let it? That's a tough one. It's a little bit early.
Order submitted.
I let it. It's a little bit early. Oil range is CL open range. Apply it. Okay it. Turn on the range trade. So now we're just waiting. Might not have been the smartest thing in the world to let the YM fill so early. So now we've got a minute and a half. 8:59, our range will start to draw. All right, it'll start to draw. Here comes our range starting to draw.
The effective Fed fund rate is unchanged at 3.64% for January 2nd.
Now, it's quite a bit of extra risk, but the YM stop, it should be below the VWAP. That's where I would put my stop. Now, you could argue that letting it fill early might not have been the smartest thing in the world. Watch the oil open right now. Watching the oil open right now. Now, I hate trying to outthink a trade, right? I hate it. I hate trying to outthink a trade.
Order submitted.
Now, I have my short way out of the way. We're only a couple of ticks away from getting filled long.
Qualcomm introduces a full suite of robotics technologies.
It's not a guarantee that it's going to work. It's a pretty big, it's not pretty big.
Order submitted.
It would have been a long fill anyway. Whether you made it long or not by moving your order out of the way, it still wouldn't have filled you short this morning. The market made the decision for you. So now we just watch. It's really just a wait. There's not much to do. You could move your stop under the range. It does create much more risk if your stop is under the range. What I'd like to see, hit our first target, and then we can move our stop into a better place. Same thing with the YM. If the YM hits our first target, we'll move our stop into a better place. All right, so not a lot to do, when you're in a little bit slow moving trades.
Order filled.
Okay, the YM hit our first target, so I'll move my stop to safety. And now it's heading towards the second target, so I'll trail. Certainly not loving our oil trade. Anyone who thinks that this day would be an easy trading day, this is not an easy trading day.
Order filled.
Our YM magnet was perfect, high of day. I would probably be done trading the YM now. One magnet, one open, that's what I like to do. One magnet, one open. So that magnet is done, but you can turn it back on in the new version. We can turn it back on, and let's see if our signals are working the way I expect them to. Oil is troublesome. See if we can survive oil. I think we're getting stopped on oil, unfortunately. It's too bad. Now, the only question is, it's a little bit bigger stop, but under under all that previous consolidation, I don't mind doing that. I don't mind doing that. It may still not work, but I need to check something on the YM. I never checked. I don't think I checked my signals. Yeah, I did. All right. High of day, low of day signals. All right, the signals are working. We got our first reversal signal. I'm not jumping into a reversal at this moment, but that is a potentially valid signal. Now the YM is in a fairly tight range between high and low. That can make things tricky, right? When it's in a area between highs and lows, because which one is the best magnet? Right now we are more bullish than bearish, but that 1 minute signal at the moment is a couple of ticks positive. Oil's going to kill us this morning. Oil's going to kill me. Not happy about it. Now, the long was the fill. It wasn't a question of should you try to outthink it. It didn't really matter. It filled long no matter what. So why didn't I jump into the YM trade? Well, our magnet was very bullish. We're in a pretty strong bullish uptrend. It only made a couple of new highs. It is a valid signal. I mean, it's not a big risk because your stop would have been above the high. Now, your risk is higher because your stop is still above the high. I don't like to wait 3 minutes or 2 minutes for the signal. Now, I'm going to shrink my oil chart because I want to get my MNQ chart ready. So I want to bring in an extra chart because we do have the open, the US open, whichever instrument you trade. People have some different trades on that. So let's see, do we have an extra chart? Let's see if I can find me a chart. I'll tell you what. Let's just make a chart. Right click, duplicate in new window. And we'll spread that chart apart. And now we're going to put that chart on MNQ. All right, MNQ 0326. Now, watching the YM on the right, it wasn't the greatest reversal. I don't think it was it was a good signal. I'm not sure that my thinking was that I wanted to jump in it this morning. Because let's be honest, you wouldn't get in at the top of the candle. I always take the worst entry when I'm trying to figure out if a trade would have worked. There was maximum 20 ticks available, maximum, maybe not even. So it was not a great trade, not a great reversal. Now, it's not necessarily done. Talking MNQ. So the MNQ open is at 9:30. And I'm looking at our normal MNQ open for today. So the first thing we do is set up a reverse continuation. Right click, strategy, click News Trader, turn on a reverse continuation. And I'll put just a couple of contracts for a possible scalp, a target of 40 ticks, a stop of 75 ticks. And that's just a discretionary trade. Again, I don't normally use it. Usually we use our regular trade. But like I said at the beginning of the trade room, almost every chart, almost every setup, I put an extra reverse continuation on the chart. So we're going to call that MNQ reverse continue. Now, also, everyone, make sure, choose your account, make sure that your apply it and OK it, and we'll turn it on. I'm definitely not going to trade the YM reverse continue. Well, I shouldn't say that. Let's just leave it alone. I'm not trading another. Let's leave it alone. MNQ. So we've got our reverse continuation on. MNQ is just making new high after new high. It made 1, 2, 3, about 7 new highs. Then it gave a very nice reversal signal. Now, we didn't have signals on, but that doesn't mean you can't take a reversal trade just because you didn't have the signals on, right? You can still take a trade. Our open trade, right click, click on strategy, double click News Trader. It is a breakout. I'm going to load my template. So I'm going to go to
gross
template,
retails were
load,
£19.6 billion over the 4 weeks to December 27th, which is up
MNQ open.
2.5% on the previous year. According to data from Nielsen IQ.
Let me see. MNQ new open. Gonna right click it, rename it today's date, 1/5/26. Load it. All right, we have a bracket of 40. We're triggering the trade at 9:29.59. Bracket of 40. Bracket of 40. Position 3. You don't have to copy the number of contracts that I trade. Risk is your own. So I say that all the time. I don't really necessarily talk about the number of contracts that I trade. 9:29.59 is our trigger time on the breakout. It's a bracket of 40. Targets of 30 and 100 I'm using. If my first target gets hit, I'll move my stop to break even. And my stop is 125 ticks at the moment. And that's MNQ. 125 ticks is 50 cents a tick. 50 cents a tick. $0.50 a tick. So 125 ticks, it's not a very expensive stop. All right. So that's our breakout. Label it breakout MNQ open. I'm going to leave it on sim for a moment. I'm going to put the time to 0. Apply it, OK it. I'm going to put my charts on sim. And I'm going to trigger the bracket because the time is on 0. So when I turn on a breakout
Order
trade,
submitted.
it gives me my brackets. It's going to go long right at the high of the day. Not the best place
Order
to go
canceled.
long. I'd rather we pull back a bit before the market opens. Now back to the strategy, the horizontal line, I'm going to turn it off so it doesn't trigger. Vertical, I always say horizontal. Show vertical line on entry, I'm turning it off. Apply it, okay it. When I re-enable the 0 time trade, you'll
Order
notice there's
submitted.
no line, but you still know where the current price was because you have your little diamonds. And then I'm going to go back.
Order canceled.
A little bit worried about frozen orders there. Then I'm going to go back to the strategy, highlight the breakout, and make sure our time is correct, 9:29. Bracket is 40, target 1 is 30. I'm going to do 35 on target 1. Target 2 is 100. Target 1 stop move. If it hits my first target, I'll move my stop to break even. My stop is 1.25. And you can use a stop up to 250 ticks on this trade. No joke. And we're going to trade this in our funded market open account. Apply it, okay it. Change our chart trader to our market open account. The same one. And we're going to turn on the trade. So, Lewis, I hope 2 weeks. I hope. I wish sooner, but it's just requiring a lot of testing. I'm adding one more thing that I think is so important, is worth adding. It's the slowest time of year to do something because everyone goes away and takes time off. It's so frustrating. It's very frustrating time of year to try to get something done. Don't forget, right-click your chart, click Data Series, and make sure that your trading hours is on Use Instrument Settings, right? Use Instrument Settings on all your charts, especially if you're trading magnets. That calculates magnets and pivots from the previous evening open. That's when I calculate all my magnets. The other chart setting we sometimes use for grains is default 24/7. So sometimes that comes into play. So now I'm just watching YM. All right. Just watching YM. Now, it wouldn't have destroyed your life if you took that signal short. But look, we made money on the YM long. The YM was in a very bullish mode right before the signal. But here's the thing, these signals are serious reversal signals. But in a super slow market like this, I don't like the signals as much as I do in a faster market, believe it or not. So just watching and waiting now. Watching and waiting, as the Moody Blues would say. I think the best song they ever wrote, Watching and Waiting. Better than Nights in White Satin. Better than Tuesday Afternoon. Better than Ride My Seesaw. Better than Timothy Leary's Dead, The Legend of a Mind. Watching and Waiting is their most beautiful song, I believe. I do see a few folks on YouTube, so thanks for watching. I think we are, maybe I'll keep the stream around for ISM. After the market open, we're staying here for ISM manufacturing. Now, I don't know if oil's going to work or not. Why did I move my stop? The first thing is I moved my stop below part of the range. That was the first reason. The second reason was I wanted my stop under all the consolidation where it is. It would have hurt. It will hurt more if the trade doesn't work. It may still not work. But it's not that I want the market to work as hard as it has to work to take me out of a trade. And I just find that when you put your stop in the middle of an area, as opposed to when you have structure, if you're under or above structure, the market has to work a little harder to break the structure. That's my reasoning. And like I said, it may not work still. There is something to be said for when you're I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, when you're in a trade that goes bad and it almost hits your stop, and then you get strong reversal signals, if you're willing to take more risk, you can add a contract by buying one at the market, down here, for instance, and then adjust your orders, your chart trading orders, so that your stops and targets reflect the right amount of contracts. So let's say I would have bought an extra contract long, because I'm long, somewhere around 57.80. I would have changed my stop to 3, okay, and checked it. I'm not doing it because I didn't do it. And I would have changed one of my orders also to make sure that you have 3 contracts that get filled if you hit targets, okay? Does everybody understand what I mean? So I would buy them or sell at the market, just add a contract, and then certainly adjust your stop first, change the number of contracts. I would add 1, and then one of my orders, I would add a contract. So if I have 3 long, I want to have targets that equal 3 contracts. Okay? Why are these markets so bullish? Why? I will never understand it ever. The markets are completely disassociated from American regular life, that's for sure. But for some reason, these markets see what's going on in the news as positive, which is hard to comprehend. But at the moment, the markets see positiveness. Now, if you want to talk for a minute about ISM manufacturing, it is a very difficult report to trade. When you see, not always, but if you see 3 setups on a DMM, that means It's a very difficult report to trade. 2 is fine. But when you get 3, and I could have put 4 on that DMM, we could have had 4 setups. There's no YM, and there could be a YM setup for ISM. Notice we got another short signal on the YM. Now, you're right before the open. That's not a signal I would take. It's more risky. It's a valid signal, but right before the open, it makes it more risky a signal, right? It's all about what you can tolerate for risk. Everything's about risk. What can you tolerate? What are you willing to risk? And that decision is different for everyone. There is no universal risk rule that fits all traders. Like, only risk 2.5% on every trade. I don't think that makes sense. What if you have a $500,000 account? What if you have a micro-only account? So we're waiting on the open. I think all prop account sales are over at the moment. Is that correct? Apex still going or no? Nitin, what the heck is your... Well, I don't want to distract you from your silver trade. I wanted to go over everybody's silver setups, what you're using now. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked about silver setups. So right now I'm still in oil because of the stop. MNQ is getting ready to trigger. And YM I'm just watching at the moment. We had a nice
Order
YM
submitted.
magnet.
Order submitted. Order filled. Order filled.
All right, so very, very choppy price action on the
Market count is open
MNQ.
balance
I
S&P
did not want to
500
be
sell side
filled
8 million,
short, which
Nasdaq
it
100
did.
sell side
It
73
filled us
million,
short
L30
and it
sell
hit
side 1
target
million,
1
Mag
and
7
then
sell side
reversed.
25 million.
Okay? Hit target 1 and then reversed. So we had a profitable winning MNQ. Oil still trying to change direction, it looks like. I think we'll get our target now on oil. We should get target 1 here.
Order filled.
Target 1, I'm moving my stop to safety. All right. Stop is at safety. If it pulls me out, I don't care at this point. Stop is at break even on oil. I'd like it to go up so I could trail a little bit. Trailing, expanding my target. Trailing. Now, it takes a lot of risk profile. What's the word? Risk. I took extra risk, and it's a funded account, so it's not like it was an account that wouldn't hurt had I gotten stopped. But here's how I would think about accounts. Cash, number 1. Funded, close
Order
number
filled.
2. All right, so oil took us out, but because we moved our stop to where I think it was smart to move the stop, I made $140 on the oil trade. It was too much risk to make that profit this morning. But no matter how you look at it, because of the world events, oil's bullish. It's bullish. At least that's what I believe. I did not want to short. It wouldn't have filled us short, but it needed more room today. It needed more room.
US listed shares of some oil companies jump as the US forces the capture of the Venezuelan president. Chevron up
I
5.1,
don't think it's
SLB up
unreasonable
7.7,
to
Exxon
trade
up
one
2.3.
contract on the oil open so you can take the extra risk on days when the extra risk might be appropriate. Now, interestingly, the MNQ is going short. I'm kind of just sitting, and I'm going to take my 3 winners and go home. But we still have ISM. So I'm pretty much done with my open trades. I'm done with my open trades. So I'm going to get rid of all of them. Interestingly, the YM really was long, which was my concern. That was my concern about taking short signals. Now remember, we said you probably don't want to take a short signal right before the open. And it was a smart move not to take a short signal right before the open. So I'm going to get rid of my YM setups. I'm going to remove them. I'm going to turn off my oil setups. I'm going to remove them. And I'm going to get rid of my MNQ. And I'm going to remove them. All right, but I'm going to leave MNQ. It's one of our setups for ISM. But we're going to start from scratch. Now, I like this 3 chart setup. I like this 3 chart setup, but I don't need 3 charts for ISM. Although I'll tell you what we could do. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. There's something we can do. So first things first, let's look at the DMM. Oh, the right chart is always cut off on the
US listed shares of
streams.
precious metal miners rise,
It's
tracking higher
because
gold and silver
I
prices.
can't
Barrick Mining and Newmont up around
fit them
2%.
all in
Kinross up
with
1.7.
OBS. I will make a
Memory chip
note
maker companies as well
to see if I
rising
can
after
look at
reports
that. I
say that
just
chip
don't think
shortages
I
have
can
increased
fix
memory
that.
prices. Micron's up 0.7.
Davis, I
Western
don't know
Digital
your
up
real name
2.1.
over there, but I don't know that I can fix that, unfortunately. And it just has to do with my ignorance about OBS. I have to look and see if I can figure it out. So I'll try and look. I'll make a note to check. It's the streaming software that I have to check. So I will look. It's me not knowing, maybe not knowing how to use it. It just won't let me expand the area being streamed, and I'm not sure why. It's such a complicated program to use. Now the MNQ, new high, new high, new high, had a great signal after the new highs. Whether you're seeing signals or not, there's a valid signal right here. Right at
White House official says US envoy Witkoff
9:31.
and
The
Kushner
problem
will
is it was
represent
so
the US at
close to
Ukraine
the
talks in
open.
Paris on Tuesday.
You know, you have to be willing to trade a regular trade very, very close to the open. The signal would have been I think it would have been 932. 932, it would have given a signal. And even if you got in a minute later, it would have been an excellent move. MNQ is an excellent instrument to trade those signals. It's hard to concentrate on taking 10 trades all on the open, if you know what I mean. It's tricky. It is tricky. But that was a good reversal there. I want gold, I think, on my left chart, gold 0226. I think so. Getting back to ISM, ISM is, I think, an extremely risky trade this morning. It's an extremely inconsistent trade in general.
The S&P 500 energy sector hits a record high in over
And
a
I'm
year.
not really
Price up
sure that it's
2.4%.
an event that
Setting a
is going to be
sector high in
easy to
over a
make
year.
money on. Excuse me. I mean, I can tell you it's not an easy event to make money on. We don't have a reliable setup month after month. Some month it trades with new home sales. Some month it trades with jolts. Some months it trades with different events. And it is inconsistent. Sometimes it works with gold and sometimes it doesn't. It had been a very reliable trade. The trap is extreme risk because you just never know how far gold's going to go, especially in these markets. I mean, my gut is to take the trap, but look at this. You had a 1 minute gold candle. Now, 77 ticks. That was a 1 minute candle. ISM could easily move gold 70 ticks. And our trap, I have to look at the DMM. Nitin, would you put in the setup you're using on silver these days? I have like 10 different setups from you and TJ on your silver setup. I just would like to, we want to vet it. We want to do some testing on it. And I just have so many setups from you, I don't know which one is current. If you don't mind. All right, so let's take a look at the DMM. I do not trust the gold breakout today. It could work. You could get a breakout for all, but the gold breakout got stopped in December, got stopped in November, and it got stopped in October. It was not a winner in November. It wasn't. We got stopped. September, the breakout
US stocks extend gains
had a
with the Dow
stop.
Jones now up 1%.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. The trap, I'll trade the trap. It's about a $900 potential risk on the trap. You could lose $900 on the ISM trap. Now, if you made money on the open, you might not want to trade ISM manufacturing. The MNQ is mediocre. Okay, the MNQ setup is mediocre, and we have a mediocre YM setup that got stopped out in November and October. It's just not great. Nothing is great on ISM. I was thinking, what would make the best setup on ISM? Gold magnet, MES magnet possibly. MNQ magnet, if you like MNQ. It's a very difficult trade for a normal setup. That's the honest truth. It's very difficult because it's inconsistent, totally inconsistent, totally. I mean, my gut feeling today, look, you can get a breakout for all. What does that mean when you get a breakout for all? It means almost every instrument works as a breakout. That's what that means. It means almost every instrument works as a breakout. That doesn't happen all that often on this trade lately. All right. Nitin, thank you very much. It doesn't happen that often lately. I'll trade a prop account that is not funded on the trap for gold. All right. I'm just not seeing anything that interests me that much on the magnet on the MES. You know, maybe it'll do a VWAP test, but the market's pretty darn bullish. Looking at the MNQ, I think I'll just take our DMM this morning. My throat is a mess. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The MNQ breakout. I'll tell you what our YM setup has been, although I don't love it. I don't love anything on ISM, to be honest. I'm just telling you the truth. It's not a great event. It's not a great event. Now, oil we don't need, so I'm going to watch YM on that oil chart. All right. YM just bursting up, making new high after new high after new high. And on gold, if you are willing to try the trap, and it does have a lot of risk, you could do it with micro gold. So right click strategy, I'm turning on the trap trade. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. That means 2 brackets, 1 contract on each. You could trade only one. You could trade just one tier, 1 bracket, and just use that bigger tier. That cuts your risk in half. The activation time is 9:59:55. $9:59:55. The stop is 25. Tier 1 is 25. Tier 2 is 45. The stop is 25. Label it GC trap. And I'll trade it in this 32 account. It's just a general purpose prop account. And that's my trap trade. So one more time. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. If you only want to trade one contract to reduce risk, position size 1 is a 1. The stop is still 25, but your tier 1 is 45. Everything else stays the same. So apply it, okay it, turn it on. So we have a trap trade. Choose your correct account. And I think there's a lot of risk on this trade. And it is because it's been so inconsistent, so inconsistent. I am going to put a reverse continue 1 contract on that gold chart, right? Like we always do. Change the breakout to a reverse continue 1 position, a 30 target. a 30 stop. And I will label it GC reverse continue, and same account as the trap. All right. So that's just a simple reversal continuation. Apply it, okay it. So we have actually two setups for gold. One's the trap. YM making new high after new high after new high.
The Dow Jones hits an intraday record, last up 1.1%.
It's an intraday record, they just said. It's unbelievable. It's beyond comprehension. Macro gold is MGC. MGC. So today it would be MGC space 0226. MGC space 0226. MNQ, we do have a mediocre setup, and I mean that sincerely. It's not been a very good setup. It's a breakout. We're going to trigger at 9:59, 59.59. All right. And the bracket is 50. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. I'm going to try to trade this in one of my newer small prop accounts. Just one contract each position. I think I can trade that account. It might not let me, but I haven't traded this account hardly at all. Target 1 is 25, target 2 is 50. And if it hits my first target, I'll move my stop to BE, break even, and my stop is 125 ticks. It's about a $75 stop. That's not that much, but it is a small account. We will label it MNQ breakout. And I have to look at my accounts. Let me see which is the right account. If I can remember, I can remember. I'll trade it in number 30, this little baby account. Let's see what happens. Whoops, number 30. But I also want to set up a reverse continue on the MNQ. So the breakout,
at the top of the hour, we get the US
I want
ISM
to test the
manufacturing PMI for
bracket
December.
when we're
Forecast
on
48
sim.
spot 4,
Okay.
on the 48 spot 2, with a range of 49
I'm going to
spot 4
set the time to 0 just for a
The
minute.
chart says Venezuela
The bracket's
will be
50.
the US ally on
I'm
security
going to make
and
sure that my
energy.
software account is on
Again, at
sim.
the top of the hour, we also get the US ISM prices paid.
Apply it and okay it.
On the prior 58
Trigger
spot
the
5.
trade
Employment still
because we're
prior
on
44.
0
Order submit.
time.
Order
Orders
canceled.
prior
See what I
47
mean? It's
spot
too
4.
tight. That's why I'm spreading the chart. I want it to be manageable.
Order submitted.
That's better. All
Order
right. It's
canceled.
pretty volatile, folks. We are pretty volatile at the moment. You could get a fill in any direction on this news, and even before. It's just has not been a safe, reliable trade. That's the reality. I guess I'm scaring people out of it. I would not be trading cash on this trade. I would not. Unless one contract, 2 micros maybe would be my max. I wouldn't be trading big risk. So now I'm putting the time back to 9:59.59, a bracket of 50. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1, target of 25, target of 50, stop of 125. You can always make that second target bigger. What if you get a gigantic burst? So make it 85. What's the worst that happens? You have to manage your way out of the trade if it doesn't hit the target. And then label it That's our breakout, MNQ breakout.
S&P 500
I
Bank
think
Index hit a record
I
high,
can
last up
trade
1.8%.
this number of contracts. If I get an error, then I'm going to have to look at this account more carefully and see what the rules are. I didn't pay attention to the rules on this particular account. Anyway, so we have an MNQ breakout, and I'm also going to set up an MNQ quick reverse continuation, 2 contracts, just one position, 2 contracts. We'll do a 75 tick target. 100 tick stop. Market's pretty darn volatile. And we're going to label that MNQ reversal, right? Continue. And same account as our breakout. They're not going to trade at the same time. You don't trade 2 setups on the same instrument at the same time. You'll get errors, right? They're separate, one after the other, one before the other, one after the other, right? I think if I were going to trade the YM breakout, yeah, I'm using 1 minute today, James. 1 minute or 30. I like both. Um, Sometimes the squeeze signals are a little faster on the 30. That's really the main difference for me. But I like 1 minute or 30. And it's really up to you what you like. You know, you might be a 5 minute squeeze trader, which is a good time frame for squeezes also. But for scalping squeeze, 30 seconds is best, 1 minute is close. The YM, I'm literally just watching it. You know, you can always put a reverse continue on it, right? Strategy, reverse continue, change the breakout to a reverse continue. Let's say we do 2 contracts. We'll do a target of 40. Let's do 35 and 35. Target and stop. 35 and 35. We're going to label it YM. Reverse continue. And hang on 1 second. Apply it and okay it. Where am I going to trade this? All right, we'll
In
trade
progress
it
timer
in,
at the top of the hour,
again,
hit
a
the US ISM
random
manufacturing
prop
PMI for
account
December.
number
Forecast
23.
48.4 on the prior 48.2 with a range of 49.4 to
And that's just a
47.5.
reverse
Price to
continue.
paid,
It's all it
forecast
is.
58.7 on the prior 58.5. Employment prior of 44 and new orders a prior of 47.4.
I'm just sliding over my gold chart because with a trap trade, I want to be able to see the combine button. That's the last button at the very top. Notice that you have buttons on top. For some trades, you have a break even button. Close the trade. Adjust the tiers, which we don't currently use. Cancel the outer tier, which is an important button on a trap trade. I will manage the trap trade out loud because that's our highest risk trade for this setup. All right. Hang on, I'm sorry. I accidentally clicked on a YouTube video. Okay, sorry. So what do we got going? Just to refresh, we have an MNQ breakout on a very small new prop account that hopefully will let me trade. We have a YM reverse continuation on a eval account. And then we have a gold trap trade on an eval account that's starting to do decent. It's up about 660, and it's pretty new. So the trap trade has a lot of risk. MNQ breakout, only one position on each. It's not a super high risk in terms of money. We're really just looking to see what is working on this report. This is a report that has not been working. I'll pull up the news, right? We want to see the news, but I have no room on my charts for the news this morning. Let's see. ISM generally takes up quite a bit of news. When we scroll down to it, when I say it takes up quite a bit, it takes up a bit of space. It's got a couple of different elements that make up the report. So I'll tell you what, I think we can squeeze it under our MNQ breakout. What do you think? Can we squeeze it in here? I think so.
Goldman Sachs shares hit a record high, last up 4.1%.
All right, so that's how I use the investing.com website to watch the news results during a trade. And like I said, for me, the most important thing that I have in my headset is the Financial Juice Pro Squawk Box. Okay? Now, if I went too fast in setting up all these setups, I'd be more than happy to take the time after the trade to go over all the setups. So please, if you're new or you're confused or you need help, don't be afraid to
Lead
ask.
with the US ISM manufacturing PMI.
I'm more than happy to go over everything. The trap trade is what I'm going to manage over here. Trap trades can go haywire, where you could get the way gold's been trading during some trap trades lately has been very volatile, very choppy and jumpy. I'm going to try and just leave it alone. Just bite the bullet. Whatever happens, happens.
10 seconds.
Our brackets tiers are going to show up in a few
Order
seconds.
submitted.
Spread them apart.
Order submitted.
Okay.
Order filled.
47
Order
spot 9,
filled.
47
The
spot
news
9,
is out.
lower than forecast 48
I'm
spot
going to
4. Price
expand
today,
that
58
stop
spot
just a
5,
little
58
bit
spot
on the
5,
upside.
lower than forecast 58
I'm going to
spot
bring
7.
my
Employment
targets
at
up
44 spot 9, 44
on the
spot 9, and
downside.
new
Target
orders
1,
47 spot 7,
target
47
2.
spot 7.
Now, the news is negative, which tends to push gold up. Gold's up over $100.
December ISM
We may
manufacturing's at a 14
get a
month
pullback,
low of
or
47
it
spot
may
9,
just
and a
stop
hit
us
48
out.
Order
spot
canceled.
4.
So it just stopped us out. The problem, very, very negative news. Our stop wasn't big enough, even though I increased it. I think we're going to get
Order
a
submitted.
short here. We're going to get a change in direction on gold that I'm willing to take a one contract reverse continuation. Now, I could have waited for a signal, which I probably should have done. I may regret this, but gold's up $125.
Stock indexes little changed after the
I'm
December
willing.
ISM data.
It's a profit count, right? I'm willing to increase my stop to like 40 ticks, 45 ticks, all right, to see if we can get the reversal part, at least something. Now, watching the squeeze, I'd like to see the color change from light green to dark. The MNQ, did it hit target 1 and then stopped out on a break even? I think that's what happened on MNQ.
You have both the DISM manufacturing December reports on the
I'm
page for gold
sorry, my
intrinsic.
throat is a mess this morning, folks. What's working against this trade is the negative news, 47.9 on the manufacturing versus 48.3. It's not horrifying news, but it's not good news compared to what they were expecting. Now, the NQ had a better move. Nitin, the NQ had a good move. The MNQ looked pretty choppy. Gold,
The report notes that economic activity in the manufacturing sector
it may
contracted in
just
December
keep
for the
powering
10th
up. I don't
consecutive
think I
month,
ever
following a 2-month
remember
expansion
gold
preceded by
being up this
26 straight
much.
months of contraction.
I don't remember it ever being up this much, and it's going to stop me out. I'm going to just let it.
Order filled.
So gold is just too darn bullish to take that change in direction. And, you know, I didn't do it smart. If we really think about it, should have waited for signals. That was a dumb trade, and I paid the price. I paid the price. Turning off the MNQ breakout. But folks, the first thing I said is I didn't think anyone should really be trading this. This is a very difficult event to trade. It just, the YM, did anybody try the YM? The bracket. What bracket? We didn't even have a good bracket for the YM. That's the honest truth. Gold, I cannot believe it's still going up. I mean, I don't want to take another scalp on gold at this moment in time, but $133 bullish. $133 bullish. Probably not the smartest trap trade because of that. But like I said, I wanted to see what this report does. I wasn't really expecting a great outcome because this trade's recent history is very difficult. It's difficult. Now, there's so many different instruments you can trade also. The MNQ on mine, it clearly looks like it hit. We'll look at the video. Let's take a look at the video. But gold is unbelievable. $135 up now. $135. Turning off the gold trap, removing the gold trap. It removes that line. Now, I don't think the YM had what looked like a. Let's look at the video because I don't know. Let's look at the video. Let me process it. It takes a minute, not even a minute. So we had oil open. All right, let's take a look. So let's do a quick look.
Welcome everyone to the Pro Trader
First thing
Plus
first
oil
on the
open, the
MNQ.
US.
So we go to the 10 o'clock trade. MNQ is on the right. Here's our brackets coming right now. And the MNQ Looks like it hit both targets. So MNQ hit both targets. That setup worked. Gold trap in the middle. Orders get placed 5 seconds before the news. Probably what I should have done in retrospect is not allowed a short fill, only allowed a long fill. Should have only allowed a long fill because gold was just too darn bullish. I mean, the problem is you hate to try to outthink the trade. More often than not, that works against you. But gold was up $122 at the time of the event. That's really a moment in time when you say to yourself, I'm going to pass on this trade. It's not particularly safe. When an instrument is that stretched, you don't get normal reactions to news. Ironically, it was negative news and it did push gold up. But was that just more of the continuation of gold or was it actually the news? And then it never reversed. It just was relentless to the upside. Looking at the YM all the way on the left, at the moment of the event. All right, here's 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Here's the YM move. YM had a strange reaction to the news. It almost didn't respond. It almost didn't respond to the news. It pretty much just kept moving up. The YM kept moving up, it looks like. So the question is, what bracket would have left some profit? But again, that was a little bit of a strange reaction to the news. So to recap, MNQ, and people are saying the NQ worked. Gold, I would not say that gold, going back to gold for a minute, I don't, looking at gold from a different eye, from the breakout eye, just watching the price action, that would not have been a safe breakout. You probably would have been stopped out on a gold breakout because it did a triple whipsaw at least. Triple whipsaw. It was not a safe breakout. And then just looking at a couple of other random instruments. Now gold might be getting ready to do that reversal, right?
Order submitted.
I'll try once more. Stop above the high. See if we can get a few dollars back. Signal. You got your signal. It may not go very far because of the bullishness. So you got to decide. It's hard to know. Hard to know. Take a
Order
target,
filled.
take a couple, take $150. Watch it, see if it continues. Do you want to do it again? Those are decisions you make. Anyway, gold's too bullish to take too many shorts. I don't think you're going to get a lot of follow through. But you never, it's crazy how you never know. It's still up over $130. That's really, really Not normal, obviously. Not normal. Looking at a couple of other instruments. Did the 6J do anything? I've been thinking about the yen. Looking at the yen at the
Denmark's
exact
PM, when
moment
asked
of
about
the
the US's
news,
ambition to take
looks
over
like the yen
Greenland,
had a very
says if the
bullish
US
move.
attacks another
Might have
NATO
been
country, then
tradable. Looks
everything
like it could have
stops.
been. And then looking at RTY,
And geopolitics as well. Venezuela orders police to find and arrest
which we
anyone
had
involved
not
in
had good
supporting the US
testing on this
attack
report.
emergency decree.
RTY did a short and then a quick reversal on the next candle. 30-ish ticks on the downside. No profit there. No profit. You would have had at least a 25 tick bracket, if not 30, and you would have gotten filled short possibly. It would have been a bad trade. I'm not sure RTY would have been a good choice. And then I'd look at the euro just out of curiosity. And then the euro, not all that impressive. It did have a bullish move. You would have had to stay in 4 minutes, it looks like, to make it worthwhile. Now, it wasn't even worth it for 4 minutes. It was only 19 ticks. So not that impressive on the euro. The only thing I didn't look at was the ES. And the US indexes, you could see there's lots of chop. Lots of wicks on all the candles. Makes for difficult trading on this kind of news. So I don't think ES would have been easy either. Not an easy event. Not an easy event. Ironically, the gold breakout would have gotten you stopped. Trap, if you only allowed long, would have been perfect. That was maybe a mistake. MNQ hit both targets. YM didn't have that interesting a move. That's how I would qualify it. Ultimately, a report that is not worth trading, in my opinion, at the moment, because the risk versus the reward is not good. Now, I don't mind taking 50 ticks of stop for 30 ticks of profit, which some people would consider bad risk to reward, if that event is generally working. In other words, you're getting breakouts that work. Sometimes we know we just have to have a bigger stop than we'd like because that's what works on a breakout. That's different than a report that just isn't performing well, which this report is not performing well. And that's why I really was pretty negative about taking a trade. All right. None of the setups had great testing. None of them. And I'm serious. We went through many, many, many instruments. And in the future, I think when we face a report like this, I'll test one of the setups on the DMM and I will look for magnets as a secondary setup. So, all right, everybody, that's it for today. Does anybody have any questions? I want to thank everyone for watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I'm going to end our stream on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow morning. So thanks for joining us.